Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Reality, spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality, spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Getting real. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. That's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Ooh-wee. Welcome to Reality Spirituality Quarantine Week 5. Now, I might be off a couple of weeks because I just started doing the quarantine, counting the weeks. But anyway, Quarantine Week 5. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Rebecca L. Norrington, the world's only happiness specialist. That's right. I said it. I not only talk it, I walk it. And you cannot get any, well, listen, of course there's more challenges than this, but this is the current challenge, being quarantined. And it's interesting because if you've listened to the show before, and if you are a regular listener, if you are a fan, you already know whatever you have been practicing before the quarantine, now you have a chance to practice during the quarantine. What the hell is she talking about? Listen, it's very, very simple. We were all programmed to be unhappy. All of us. Every single one of us. Why? We don't know any better. We didn't know any better because our parents were programmed and the parents before that. But it is a programming. The reason for all suffering is because of the thoughts, because of the program thoughts. And all I'm here to do as your only happiness specialist is to expose what adds to happiness, to expose and to share what subtracts from happiness. Simple. And when I say happiness, I'm talking about an internal peace, an internal state of mind, state of being that is all peaceful. I don't care what the circumstance. I don't care how big the storm is. I don't care how long I'm quarantined. This state of mind is a skill. Happiness is a skilled practice. And when I say happiness, my definition is to be able to be at peace regardless of what happens, regardless of the coronavirus, regardless of how long we're quarantined, regardless of what is going on. How do you remain at peace? How can you vibrate peace? How can you be the energy of peace? And when I say peace, I'm talking about a calmness, a sense of balance. Shoulders are down. You're relaxed, regardless of whatever you're challenged with. And this coronavirus, what's going on right now it is the most interesting thing because this, I always say, you never know a person until they're challenged. You never know who a person is until they're challenged. It's easy to be happy. It's easy to skip in the park when the sun is out and it's not raining and it's a nice, cool 75 degrees. Some people will want it higher. Some people want the degrees lower. It's easy. When everything is running right, when everything is smooth, when everything is, oh, yes, hunky-dory. No. The practice comes in when we hit roadblocks, when we hit hurdles, when things like this happen. Who are you? I want to know who you are. I want to know who you are when you're challenged. And so that's when the practice comes in. It's just like, it's just like being a professional athlete. When you're Game 7 of the NBA championships or World Series, Game 7, what's the other one? Oh, Super Bowl. Who are you on the biggest stage? Who are you when you are challenged? You cannot get, there is not any more pressure than Game 7. You're up to bat, and your team is down your team is down by, I don't know, two bats. Your team is 2 runs. I'm not really baseball. I mean, I do know a little bit about baseball. Your team is down 2 runs. The bases are loaded. You come up to bat. You can put your team away. It's the 9th inning. It's either now or never. You're either going to hit a home run or you're not. See, the challenge comes from the pressure, outside pressure, quarantine. It's the pressure. So I know who you are when you're challenged. And the interest, I just came back from a road trip. I know you're not supposed to be traveling. I know you're not supposed to be traveling, but I did. I traveled, and I just came back from a road trip from California. And you know what I found? Listen, I asked people this one question, and it's just interesting, the answer. How concerned are you? On a scale from 0 to 10, how concerned are you about this coronavirus? And when I say about the coronavirus, I'm talking about you personally catching it. I don't want to know about what you think about other people and other people putting everybody else in danger. No, I want to know you, the person in the mirror, how concerned are you to catch the coronavirus from 0 to 10? See, when you answer that question, then you get an idea of what's going on. The people that were afraid, have a sense of fear, are their fear is going to be heightened during this time. And again, I know a person when they're challenged. I was listening to a radio show. I got my Los Angeles radio show now in Oregon, which is just who knew that I could have had it 2 years ago. But anyway, I was listening to this radio station, and the gentleman that was hosting gave really interesting statistics, and he got his statistics from the CDC. CDC apparently is the authority on the coronavirus, deaths, survival, all that. And I'm just going to go through this really quickly because I thought it was fascinating. Okay, and this is about the deaths that have happened. I know this is a happiness show, but again, just bear with me. So from 0 to 4 years old, from, let's see, he said from January, hold on, let me get the right dates. I don't want to quote it wrong. Mid-January to April the 1st. Okay, there have been 2 deaths from 0 to 4 due to corona. If you're 5 to 14 years old, bear with me with the statistics. I usually don't do this. If you're 5 to 14 years old, from January to April the 1st, I believe the dates were, you can go online and look it up, CDC. 5 to 14, there was 1 death. From 15 years old to 24 years old, there's 13 deaths. Out of 11,000 people getting the coronavirus, from 25 years old to 34 years old, there were, here it is, February to April, there were 113 deaths. 16,000 people contracting the coronavirus from the age of 35 to 44, there's 289 deaths. Now listen, when I'm rattling off these deaths, I'm not doing it flippantly. I'm just stating facts here. Out of 17,000 people from the age of 45 to 54, there has been 750 deaths. And I'm talking about in the United States, February to April. Now, here we go. Now, we've all heard that the older you get, the more, you're more susceptible. So here we go. From 74,000 people that contracted corona from the age of 55 to 64, there's been around 1,800 deaths. Now we're getting from the age of 65 to 74, there's been 114,000 people that have contracted. There's 2,900 deaths. And then from 75 to 84, there's been 144,000 people that have contracted it, and then there's 3,500 deaths. Now, all of these deaths that I've given you statistics, the percentage is around 2%. 2% of the total amount of people that get it die from this disease. Listen, I'm going to ask you the question from 0 to 10. How concerned are you that you are going to get coronavirus? Now, if you are responsible and when you go out, you're masked, you wear gloves, and you stay away from people, the chances are very, very, let me scratch that because, listen, what I'm saying is just taking the necessary precaution. But the thing that let me give you my answer. My answer for me, the answer is 0. I have 0 concern that I'm going to get coronavirus. And if I do, I have 100% trust and faith that I'm going to pull out of it. That's just my mindset. That's my vibration. That's what I feel for me. And someone was saying, listen. Someone wasn't saying, listen. I heard that we're talking about, there is a sense, and I totally get it, that social media, people are in a panic, people are worried. But now, oh, geez, what kind of sense does it make? Are we banning fried foods? I mean, I think the number one killer in the United States is heart disease, which fried foods, French fries. What about drunk drivers? In other words, there's so many other things that kill us. I'm just giving you my perspective. That isn't that doesn't compare to this virus. And of course, we're all taken off. Listen, I'm not callous about it, but we're all taken off. We're all a little shook up. But let's stick with how can you contribute to this situation? How does your vibration contribute to the healing of this country? I say country, world. Because if you're vibrating worry and fear and scared and concerned, that's what you're contributing. I know I've said it a million times. What I found when I talk to people, and listen, I put my mask on when I was in California. It's law. You got to put your mask on. You got to wear your gloves. I followed all the protocol. But what I found was one of the reasons why people are really bothered, well, they're really bothered because looking at what other people are doing and making judgments. You know, when I talk about being at peace and vibrating peace, one of the things that subtracts from your peace is looking at what other people are doing or noticing what other people are doing. And I hear, well, they're putting other people at risk. My point is, what you cannot control, the worry, the fear, the judgment about things that you cannot control, you have no control over, is it even your business? Especially when when I say, people talk about pollution. What about a vibrational pollution? What about an energy pollution? I'm not here to change what you think or change what you feel. I'm just sharing my perspective, and that is whatever you practiced before this coronavirus is exactly what you're going to experience now. And the reason why these people, when I say these people, I mean these people other than me, these people are concerned and worried and because they're feeling a certain way. And what does the man with the hump in his back want more than anything else? What does the man with the hump in his back want more than anything else? I get a lot of different answers. Some answers are to get rid of the hump. Some answers are to walk straight. You know, what the man with the hump in his back wants more than anything else is he wants you to feel as bad as he feels. These people that are looking at other people and making judgments, first of all, judgments subtract from your happiness. Judgments subtract from your fear. Judgments subtract all judgments. So when you practice not judging what other people are doing, and when you practice trusting and knowing that everything is in order and there is a reason for everything, whether or not we want to feel it or we want to accept that or not, there is a reason. And there is something beneficial. There is something that is going to serve each and every person that is going through this experience, whether you want to believe it or not. It's serving you in an individual way and in a profound way. And I challenge you to find how this situation is serving you, how the quarantine week 5 is assisting you in expanding and growing. How is it find, the saying, find the silver lining. Well, yeah. What is your focus, my dear audience? What is your focus? Is your focus finding something wrong? Is your focus looked on what's wrong? Or is your focus on, okay, what am I doing different? How can I find another perspective? I talk to so many people, and I get a lot of, this is bad, this is horrendous. Well, if that's what you believe, you're absolutely right. But if you change your perspective, nothing has to change in the world. The situation, the circumstances don't have to change. But when you change your perspective, you can look at this event, you can look at this challenge and find something good. But if you are usually looking at the world and saying there's something wrong, if you're looking at the world, what is it, glass is half empty or half full? It's exposed now. All I'm sharing with you is that you can shift your perspective and take a different look at the same situation and vibrate a little bit more peace as we are challenged by being quarantined. Now, I'm just telling you, if I feel like taking a walk, if I feel like going to the store, my social hour, because I found out I was a little bit more social than I thought. My social thing, I'm going to Costco. I'm going to the market. Well, I'm not in California, so it's a little different. We're not required by law. In Oregon, we're not required by law to wear masks. And some people wear them and some people don't. And great for the people that do and fine for the people that don't. I am not looking at one person and thinking, they're talking too close. They're not wearing the mask. I'm not concerned. You know why? Because, number one, my priority is my own peace. And my contribution to this planet is to vibrate peace and to vibrate trust and to know that whatever is going on is here for a divine purpose. I don't know what that was. Now, I have a few people in the chat that's called in. You just press number 1 if you want to talk to me. My number 1 son, I only have one. Hey Nathan, shout out to Nathan. And I've shared the story before, and he's shared it before. So there was one incident where he found himself overnight in a jail cell. And he knew not to call his mom, so he called his grandmother. The bottom line is it's something very, very, anyway. he taught me a very good lesson while he was in the jail cell. He told me, he says, Mom, at first, this was years ago, at first I was panicked. When am I going to get out of here? The officers aren't treating me well, nervous, scared, anxious, all of those emotions. And then he kind of started settling in. And your reasoning, see, the ego wants us, the reason why we suffer is listening to, identifying with the ego, saying that there's something wrong with the situation, wanting the situation to be different than what it is. When you accept everything that is happening, I'm not talking about, just lying down. No, I accept. But what I'm talking about, when you practice acceptance of all what life throws at you, not just the good stuff, the challenging stuff. Oh, okay. And when you practice thinking that, well, whatever this is, I know it's here to serve me. I know it's here because the purpose is to offer me a new way of looking at the world, of expanding, of growth. I know I'm here to experience without judgment, and that's all life is, an experience without judgment. Now, I have a lot of people that are yay, down for that, and I have a lot of people that disagree, and it's okay. But I'm here to tell you the practice for me is how to be at peace regardless of what life throws at me. That goes for health, relationships, financial, family members, people that I know. It's up to the individual. It's just a one-on-one relationship you have with the universe. One-on-one. The suffering comes from wanting something different than what is happening. Looking at and thinking that something is wrong. Looking at, pointing at, paying attention to what you think is wrong. And I'm here to tell you there's nothing wrong. Ever. I know that's a tough one. What I want to share is each individual, we're all as different as our fingerprints, and each individual has their own path, their own journey. You're not sharing the journey with someone else. It is a unique one-on-one relationship with the universe. I say universe, some people say God, some people say spirit, higher power, source, energy. It doesn't matter the term. And quite frankly, what I'm sharing can be applied to people that don't even believe in a source or energy or God. This is a one-on-one, but you are energy. You people that don't believe in God, you are energy, and you can feel your vibration, and you can feel when you're feeling anxious and worried and scared. And you know that there are laws, there are universal laws. I mean, the law of gravity is working and active whether you believe in God or not. And the law of cause and effect happens whether you believe in God or not. So what I'm sharing, let me just talk to my atheist people. What up, people that don't believe? That's fine, but there is a vibration, and what I'm saying is your vibration, let me see, how do I put this? Whatever you're vibrating, say you're vibrating fear, and but that's your foundation. Your foundation is fear, anxiousness, worry. I challenge you to look back on your life and find evidence that even when times were not rosy, even when you were challenged you experienced things you didn't want to experience, you could look back on it now, maybe not while you were in it, but you can look back and find something that benefited you from going through this going through the, I keep saying challenge, going through the experience, going through the bumpy road, going through what we're going through right now. See, my question to everyone out there is, what do you practice every single day? And the more you practice, because happiness, peace, contentment is a practice skill. And the more you practice, the more it becomes you, and the more it is your identity. You know why the worry, there's a lack of worry? People worry only because they don't trust. But the practice is making peace, making happiness your number one priority. And commit to it. And when I say make a commitment, that's number one over everything else. Acceptance of what's happening, acceptance of life, being able to switch your perspective. If you are looking at the situation, if you're looking at the world, if you're finding fault, do you know that you can look at it a different way and feel differently and feel better and vibrate lighter? And that's totally up to you. Choosing your perspective is a practice. Just because I talk to people, and I'm going to get to the cue in a minute. I talk to people and first, oh, this is bad. I know. I was hanging out with two of my besties when I was in California, and one of them was born with really severe pigeon toe. So much, when your toes are touching, your heels are out and your toes are touching, so bad that the bones, she had to wear a metal brace on her ankles. I think she wore it for a year to set her bones so she could walk, so her feet would face forward as opposed to toes facing in. And one of my friends said, "Oh, that was horrendous. What a horrendous experience that must have been for a little baby." That's what she went into this. Oh, that was, and she used that word. Oh, that was horrendous for a baby. And I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, wow, medical science. You're born and your toes are pointing in. You can wear this brace for, 6 months to a year when you're sleeping. I don't know when she had to wear it. And you can straighten out your legs. You can straighten out the structure of your bones. I'm looking at it as, wow, that's great. I had to wear braces. I mean, teeth, forward, what do they call it, upper bite, forward bite, buck teeth. I wear braces. Now I have nice straight teeth after being tortured wearing braces. So are you looking at what's wrong? Do you look at life and the situation and find, wow, it's horrendous? It really bothered me when she said that. And I called her on it. Let me go to the phones. Hold on a second. Let me go to the phones. Hey. Oh, yes. Well, welcome to Reality Spirituality, Nathan. Thank you, Nathan. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. What up?
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Well, how are you? No, this is my question. From the beginning of your quarantine to right now, to the present moment, how have you, or if you have, vibrated different, perspective change? How has your perspective changed, if it has? And from 0 to 10, how concerned are you?
Yeah, okay. So how has my perspective changed? It definitely has changed from the beginning till now.
From what to what specifically?
Okay. Well, in the very, very beginning, I was not concerned at all. I wasn't fearful for myself or really for anyone else, and I was not interested. And,
nice.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And then.
And how long did that last?
How long did it last? Maybe a couple weeks. I mean, it's kind of foggy when I heard about it, and then when people started quarantining. But yeah, maybe a couple weeks. And
then what happened?
And then I started having then what happened? Then I started having some fear and concern for others and the world, quote unquote. And
how did
what's
that
gonna
make
happen.
you feel?
It didn't make me feel too good. It made me feel bad and fearful.
So
although
when
I
you
still, yeah.
No, I was going to say, because you know what I share on the show is staying out of other people's business, because that will make you feel like crap. So the practice was being concerned for other people, and you felt like crap.
Yeah, I did, and I also, I mean, it's in my mind, it's justified because it's like, well, how is the world outside of me going to affect my experience? That's the story.
What did you say? How is the world? I didn't hear that part.
The world outside of me and other people, like, how is that going to affect my experience?
Oh, okay, got it.
I mean, that's the story. Well, if they do this, or if they shut this down, or if whatever is happening, how is that going to make me feel? So yeah, it made me feel bad, but I still wasn't really, but I was more concerned for my own health in the middle of it, and now I'm back to less concern for myself, less fear about myself, and really taking this time to, like you said, I really like what you said about energetic pollution, and what am I contributing to the energy of everything and everyone around me by what I feel in myself. So a lot of looking at my own energy, and then my own way that I trust, and figuring out what that even looks like. When you say trust, I think, what does trust feel like to me?
What does trust feel like to you?
I know. I'm thinking, well, part of what trusting feels like is peace and is serenity. It's a feeling of, I don't have to solve everything. I don't have to control everything. It feels like just one thing at a time, one moment at a time. It feels like simplicity.
Well,
let me where I'm at today. Yeah.
Well, let me add to what you just said. When you said, I feel like I don't, what I control. This thing about controlling or thinking that you have control is an illusion. Nobody has control over anything. I mean, you might feel it, or maybe it would be temporary, or the illusion that ego gives you an illusion of having control. But where is the control? I mean, this is what I believe. I don't know how I'm gonna go. I could walk out and fall off the deck, and a turkey could eat me. I could go at any time, and I don't have any control over when I go, how I go, why I go. I don't care if I eat all organic. I don't care if I run for 10 miles. I don't have. This is what I believe. I don't have control over where I go or how I go, because the people there's it's one of the biggest. What is his name? Jim Fixx. I think his name was Jim Fixx. I mean, a marathon runner, very famous, died of a heart attack. I mean, I don't have control over how I go, and in letting go of thinking that I do. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm just going to sit and eat French fries, but letting go of that thinking that I have control over what happens and when I'm going to die or how I'm going to die is letting that go is very, very freeing, because you tell me who has control, give me evidence of who has control over how long they live.
Yeah, when I'm listening to you, and it just brings me back to the same thing of the same question for myself of what can I control and what do I not have control over, and really knowing the difference, and it really accepting the difference. And it's true, I don't really know how I'm gonna die. Like, I don't know, but I know what I.
Not only you don't know how, you don't know when.
I don't know when, but I do know what I'm going to eat for lunch when I get back home. And does that have anything to do with me dying or not? Like, I don't know, maybe. So that's why I feel like that's a nice opinion.
No.
But yeah, well, I mean, like how you say with it's just so, the universe is so layered and webbed, and there's so many components to it. There's so many unknowns. How can we even begin to say, oh, this happened specifically because of this, or this didn't? It's like, who knows how this is all fitting together? I think that's why simplicity feels good for me, because it not only does it feel complicated, but there's just things I don't know and I don't understand. And I think accepting that is important too.
Yes, and what you're hitting on and what you're talking about is one of the practices, one of the daily practices is being okay with uncertainty. And one of the things that is bothering there's so many things that are bothering people, but is because of the practice of judging and continue to judge. But how many of us are practicing okay with uncertainty? And that means I don't know what's going to happen this afternoon, and I'm okay with it. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen in 6 months, and I'm okay with it. Being okay with uncertainty means that, okay, so the guy that walked on a tightrope across Niagara Falls, he walked on it, and he's done it more than once, walked on a tightrope from Canada to the U.S. I don't even get it. Now, this guy couldn't do that without practicing walking on a tightrope. I mean, there is no safety nets, nothing. And he's walking on this tightrope. You can see it on YouTube. It's crazy. But because of his practice, and because this guy, whatever he's practicing, this is what he can do. So the practice is being okay with uncertainty. And are you okay, not just you, but our audience, are you okay with uncertainty? That's either yes or no. And when you practice being okay with uncertainty, which really rattles all of the people that need to or have to or believe in this illusion of they control something. But this what's going on right now is a big shakeup. And finding out we don't control anything, including coming out of the house or not. But, some people are following the rules, some people aren't. But are you okay with uncertainty? And if you practice that, and it's very unsettling, but you have the evidence. Earlier I talked about you with the jail cell, but you have an evidence in all of your life, in your wonderful short life of 35 years, looking back on all of your challenges. I mean, the biggest challenges in your life. You don't have to say them, but can't you find something good that happened to you in each and every one?
I can find something good. Yeah.
And so there's our evidence. No, go ahead.
Right. Just the uncertainty. It feels. I don't know if you said it feels uncomfortable. It's just a shake-up. It's just a shake-up practicing that. And I do look back and see good, and I also just see me getting shaken up from what I'm used to, and not having to find a different way, but really wanting to find a different way because it's uncomfortable. I'm thinking whatever I'm doing, what am I doing that's making me so uncomfortable? Is it because I do believe that I don't know, whatever the opposite of uncertainty is, where I do think that it's important for me to know what I'm doing later and know how this is all going to turn out, because that belief can go, because it's causing me nothing but trouble and problems.
Well, come over to the dark side.
Come over to the dark side. Or the light side.
Because that's where I live. I live in a land.
Right.
I live in the land of uncertainty, and you know, this is so important, especially to anybody else that's listening. And I get new listeners every week. You said shaken up. It is just like this being okay with uncertainty, especially when it starts. It's like anything else. The more you practice, the easier it gets. The reason why I can say, being okay with uncertainty is only because I've been practicing it for years. But when I started it, you might as well just somebody just has you by the ankles and are turning you upside down and are shaking you and bouncing you on your head. It feels like crap.
Right.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, and now I'm thinking, I mean, for any of your listeners, and for anybody, if they're practicing uncertainty, is like you said, just practice and starting off with simple, easy things. I don't know what I'm going to eat later today. Am I okay with that? I don't know if I'm going to go to the movies or not, or whatever it is. Maybe practicing with little things that don't have so much weight.
Now I'm getting chills, and you hit the nail on the head, because that, and thank you for reminding me to share with my listeners. You start off with baby steps. You know, when Michael Jordan first started playing basketball, he wasn't shoved into the NBA championship on his first day. So the baby steps are very, very, very important to remember. And just like you said, exactly, when you say, well, I know what I'm going to eat later, I'm giving you the side eye, because do you really? So not only is the practice being okay with uncertainty, with smart little tiny things, just like you said, just eating, or what time am I going to go to sleep? Nothing in the future. There's no story about the future. There's no story about anything. But there is I know what I'm inspired to do at 12 o'clock. But I have salmon in the refrigerator. Now I know how to make salmon really well in the refrigerator. And, I mean, I guess I'm going to have it today for dinner, but do I really know for sure? And why am I in the future? So it's really about letting go of knowing the future, even being in the future, thinking about the future, and just letting go of all of the stories about the future. The two things: being okay with uncertainty, letting go of I know. I don't know. It just helps me.
I love that a lot, and I'm thinking about how you and I do it. I don't even know if we don't necessarily practice this on purpose, but when we hang out and we know we're going to eat, well, we really don't know. Anyways, when we're thinking about lunch or dinner, sometimes we will say, well, what do we want to eat later? Do we want to do this? And we'll start talking about what we want to do later, and then all of a sudden we just drop it because, like you said, number one, we don't know. And why are we even discussing 7 p.m. when it's noon?
I
think you and me do that a lot, and I think that's just a fun, easy way to practice is with the food. You know, are we able to just get in the car and not even know where we're going, and just figure it out along the way?
And you know, that's another reason why I stopped giving, unless it's some kind of doctor's appointment or meeting, I don't give anybody a time. Well, I'll see you at 6 o'clock. That adds so much pressure on me. I mean, this is just for me. I say, well, I'll see you between 6:30 and 7. I'm not putting. That's for me. That's just pressure. So I don't know how I'm going to be feeling unless I'm teaching, unless I have a job, unless I have a doctor's appointment. I'm not going to give you, well, I'll see you. I'll be at your house at 3:30. Oh, that's it. I had to let that go. Unless I'm getting on a plane. I'm not going to give anybody a time because it's too much pressure on me.
And look
what do you think about that?
I love that. Look what's happening with. I think okay, we can make that plan, or you said the doctor's appointment, or even hang out with a friend at 6 o'clock. But then, how attached are we to it going down the way we said? Because
there you
look
go.
What's happening. Look, I mean, everything that is supposed to happen across the world, all these events and gatherings, they're all canceled, and no one could have. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that even the things that as a community or people were so attached to, the Olympics every 4 years, and this every 2, and this happens every year, strong attachments were being forced to let go of them. They're not happening.
Let go of attachment. Not only that, let go of expectation. That's another thing that subtracts from happiness, is having any expectations of an NBA Finals, any expectations of Olympics, any expectations. And when you travel to see me, I tell you, I don't even know if I'm going to see you until you get off the plane. I mean, when you're on the plane. Right. I get an idea, but Nathan's coming on March the 2nd. Oh, no. So the thing about, am I getting excited about the future? No. But in the moment, on that day, I don't know. It's really about what you practice on a daily basis, because what you practice on a daily basis is what you are going to carry into your present moment, is what you're going to carry into your present moment. And if you, again, being okay with uncertainty, I'm telling you right now, I got both hands up. I'm good with not knowing anything and not pretending I know anything. I mean, I've been slapped down too many times thinking I know something. And you know what I do know? I know that every time I think I know something, I'm always wrong. I know that. Or, it's going to turn out like this. Oh, it's going to turn out this way. What? I mean, when I say always wrong, but usually it takes a turn, it takes a twist. It never comes out, I know it's going to happen. Please, I give up. I don't know, and I'm cool. Jimmy crack corn, I give up, and I don't care about knowing.
Jimmy crack corn. Jimmy can crack a lot of corn.
Now, do you? So I want to get back to this last thing about the Hump-Back-Man. The jail cell. Can you share with the audience a little bit of your jail story personally? Because I shared it earlier, but can you just go through your? Because you said the same thing with this coronavirus. At first you were cool, then you got fearful, then you were cool again. I'm just paraphrasing really quickly, but can you share your stages of emotion through the first getting locked up?
Okay, so let's see. So getting locked up first was a shock. It's a shock to the reality. It's so not what I expected that I didn't know how to cope, because it was so uncertain. And then it was, let's see, trying to
get
out of it.
Baseball bat to the back of your head.
Baseball bat to the back of the head, and then it was trying to wiggle out of it and change it, and just whatever I could do to avoid it. How can I change this? And then there was an acceptance, but it felt like a forced acceptance of what was happening. I'm forced to accept this, and I'm pissed about it. I'm just mad and sad and bad. It felt bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then after all of that range of emotions and the acceptance was just still there of what actually is happening, then I started to settle down, settle into when I was going to be able to make a phone call, settle into how long I thought I might be in there, or really not knowing how long. And maybe that's the most important part of my story is there was a moment where I realized I didn't really know when I was going to get out. I didn't know if it was going to be in the morning. Maybe it could be 3 days, a week. I just didn't know. And just accepting that brought a calmness to me where I was able to relax in my cell, in my personal cell, relax and start to find some enjoyment in my experience. Because there was joy there. I think there's always a joy underneath. And then I didn't feel so anxious for the moment to change.
Okay, so what you just described to the audience is is a blueprint of this whole coronavirus quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Just gave you a blueprint of from the beginning, middle, end, reasoning behind it, and then the ending with acceptance and being relaxed, and then finding joy or finding fun. And I remember you were telling me, and then you started having fun in the jail
having
cell.
Fun, that's right. That's right.
That's what you told me.
You know what I want to
say
too? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I just want to say that there's a feeling that I have. I don't have it anymore. I don't feel it right now. But there's a feeling of when this is over, or I'm excited for this moment to be over so I can get to a better moment. And whether there's corona or not or anything, to me that's a huge piece of me being at peace. Is, am I looking for the next moment to find joy or relief or peace, or am I looking to this moment? What difference does it make if there's a virus, or if I'm in jail or anything? Even, what's happening right now?
Exactly, and now you're hitting on another very important point that I did not discuss, but is another practice. Peace and happiness is a practice skill, and what you said is having patience, practicing patience. And along with practicing patience, there is a belief, there is an understanding, there is a knowing that I am never wasting time. See, this thing about wasting time, wasting life, there's no such thing. So there comes peace and patience are related. And when you are at peace, really, truly at peace, you have patience and see, we're taught to have patience with everything else. When a child is born, we're not yelling at, hey, hurry up and grow some teeth so you can eat some food, and hurry up so you can walk, and hurry up so you can put your clothes on. I mean, we have patience with the child. We have patience if we plant a rose bush, if we plant carrots. We have patience when I plant a seed, a vegetable garden, we're standing over it and, hurry up and grow. But the programming comes from having patience for certain things and not having patience for others. And I say the practice is to have patience with it all.
Mm-hmm.
And patience with self. Patience with self. Because the practice, if we're practicing trust, if we're practicing acceptance, if we're practicing being at peace with uncertainty, there is a patience to have with self. Practice being patient with your, not you, but with the growth. Patience with the unfolding. Patience with how life is unfolding. So the patience is another cherry you put on top of the ice cream sundae. But what's in this sundae that's going to offer more peace is patience, letting go, being able to choose your perspective, just like you just stated from the jail cell, choosing your focus, staying out of other people's business. It doesn't matter what anybody else's business is doing. That's the universe's job. Stay out of the business. Surrendering to what the moment is without resistance. I'm just wrapping everything up now. Surrendering.
Yeah, that's good.
And making peace your number one priority. So that means that in every present moment, what am I practicing or noticing? What am I practicing? Am I practicing changing my perspective? Am I practicing looking at and making judgments? So you make a list, because all judgment, and again, even if you are making judgments, accept that too. But know that when you're judging, that you're not going to feel as peaceful. But accept that too. So it's an acceptance of all of it, acceptance of self, acceptance of your evolution, and be patient with yourself. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My website is RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington. My Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. I have a couple of videos on YouTube. I know Reality Spirituality, the book, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon. And my second book, the one that I'm probably about 80% finished with, whatever, it's a number, Program for Unhappiness, my second book, Program for Unhappiness, is going to have a chapter about all of this. I mean, what a perfect opportunity. Now I can write a chapter about the coronavirus and happiness. So every week listen to the show. You can call in, the number to call in. You can talk to me live, just like Nathan did. Until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who you are. You're a physical extension of the universe. You're always evolving. You're always changing. You're always growing. Love is patient, and love is kind. Be patient and kind to yourself. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. And you've been listening to Reality Spirituality with your host, World's Only Happiness Specialist, Rebecca Norrington. I'll speak with you again next week. Have a conscious week, my dear audience. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one. Reality Spirituality. Got a question for RLN? Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Get real good.